Good morning, peoples, and welcome back to the P&A podcast. I am, of course, one of your hosts, whatever Austin, that's what my name is, and I am here with whatever his name is.
Hello, I am here. I am Pericles, that the other person.
Are you mocking me?
Yes.
Because that's what I said last time.
Hello.
um, we will move swiftly on from that little hiccup right into the news. Pericles, what is the news that we have?
The news is as you know, or some of you may know, our comment section was turned off because I decided to make our content kid friendly, according to YouTube
Big
and
mistake.
COPA and that stupid rules they have. Um, we love you, YouTube, but we're not being monetized yet, so at this point, we hate you.
Yes,
Um,
we do.
but I made a few changes, and we have our comment section back.
Yay!
So now you can leave comments, nice comments, please. Don't no hate.
No hate, or we'll turn the comment section back off.
Yes, I can easily just press a button, edit a video, and just say made for children, and it will turn our comment section off. But we basically changed it as content not for children. This, let's be clear, this content is for families, is for children.
It's for anyone.
It is
that
for
wants to listen to it.
anyone, but it's not strictly for children. So that's why we have marked it
No.
as content not appropriate for children. But that doesn't mean it isn't. So
Yes.
just wanted to clarify that. And yes, we have our comments back.
Yep.
So please leave us with those comments, questions, concerns. Maybe not concerns.
Yes, actually, questions would be much appreciated because we are planning on doing a Q&A sometime
Yes.
in the future.
Well, we will answer and potentially solve your life problems. Maybe not your life problems, but
No,
questions.
we can't solve our own,
Yes.
so
We can't even decide what to talk about in a podcast. Do you think we'll solve your problems?
exactly. All right. Let's get right into it.
Okay.
What is our main topic of today, Pericles?
We are starting today with a news story we found intriguing. And actually,
Very.
it comes with about two news stories. One from
True.
December of last year, and then one of January 17th of this year. So,
Yes.
but this story is specifically interesting for one specific reason. And what is that reason, Austin?
We love pigeons.
Yes, so much that we do what?
We read news headlines about them.
Nice.
Yes.
But what makes these pigeons so interesting? Because pigeons are kind of like street birds, you know.
They're very fashionable.
Oh, yes. You gotta love a pigeon with some good fashion. And that is why we found this new story, not stary. What is a stary? We don't know. But we found a new story of a pigeon spotted in Nevada wearing a tiny sombrero. Now, we can't show you a picture, but I do recommend you looking this up and finding a picture of this pigeon because it is absolutely amazing. And as I said, there is two of these news articles. And so this more recent one is the pigeon wearing the sombrero, but the older one is two pigeons wearing tiny cowboy hats, and this is in Las Vegas. But let's dive more into the article. So, Austin?
Yes. From ABC News, officials concerned for pigeon spotted wearing small sombrero. The fear is that the hat glued to the bird could harm the animal. Yes, we should actually probably specify that the hats were not, attached with a strap. It was
Right. Sadly,
glued.
the hats were probably glued to their head, and that's the sad part.
It's
Besides,
kind of inhumane.
it is.
It's a small price to pay for fashion.
Yeah. It's kind of like getting a tattoo, I guess,
Yeah.
but not because it's a pigeon.
The
I,
poor pigeon.
I mean, imagine a pigeon walking around with a tattoo. That's probably even more inhumane, but
A tattooed pigeon. You'd never see it because of the feathers anyway.
true. But continue.
Yes, there's the older news story is from Newsweek, and it reads, "How these volunteers are trying to save the cowboy pigeons." Nice.
This is very fun. It's funny because the pictures are just of a pigeon walking around with like a cowboy hat or like a little sombrero, as we said. It's funny to see and it's like funny to hear about, and I get it. I mean, obviously it's inhumane gluing hats on pigeons, but I mean, it is fun. But I mean, pigeons were harmed, or at least one we know of was
Yes,
harmed.
the cowboy
Um,
pigeon was unfortunately poisoned kind of by the glue. She was sniffing it kind of because their nose is right up by their head. She died from sniffing
Right.
glue.
Mhm. So that one pigeon died. We don't know about the other two pigeons. So the other two pigeons actually might be still like chilling, and they actually might have gotten the hats off those pigeons. We do not
Maybe
know what happened to those though. Or maybe they're just still wandering around with like sombreros on their heads or
somewhere
cowboy hats.
out in Nevada roams the sombrero pigeon.
The cowboy pigeon.
Well, that one died.
There's another cowboy pigeon.
Sombrero
There were
pigeon.
two cowboy pigeons.
What?
There were two cowboy pigeons. And
But
then
there
there was the one sombrero pigeon.
Oh. Okay, whatever. One pigeon died. We know that. Sad. We should have a moment of
Let's
silence.
put let's put F's in the comment for the pigeon. Just comment F in the chat below for the pigeon. R.I.P. May the pigeon live forever in our memory.
Please observe a moment of silence for the pigeon.
Okay, and just saying, don't like hate us or anything for making fun of the pigeon. We love animals. Don't get us wrong. This was just
Yep.
something we found funny.
I love
Wanted to
animals.
share it with you guys.
They taste great.
Yes. Wait, what? No. Me agrees with you, not knowing what you said momentarily. No, I mean, it's funny. Like, what goes through someone's mind and they're just like, you know what I'm going to do today, Austin?
What?
I'm going to walk up to a pigeon in the city. I'm going to kidnap it. And I'm just going to put a sombrero on it.
Well, speaking from personal experience, you don't need much extra reason to hate pigeons. I mean, they poop on everything. So, just pointing that out.
For sure. I've been pooped on by a pigeon in Central Park before. I know for a fact. I can care less about pigeons. But who would go through the effort to put a hat on a pigeon? Like, what were they, like, what was their, I want to know what their thought process was, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just like, you know what it's like kind of like Phineas Verb. Verb, I know what we're going to do today. We're going to put hats on pigeons. It's all we got to do.
Probably wasn't that hard either.
No, probably wasn't, to be honest.
Except for the fact that pigeons
mean-
can fly and we can't, so.
True. I mean, those pigeons must have been like the life of the party or something. Just be like, sup? Just styling, walking down the city,
Making all the other pigeons
Just be like,
jealous
hey,
until they died.
until they died.
Oh, it's so sad, really.
It is bad. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's humorous and it's is sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Warning, just not warning, but don't put hats on pigeons.
Yeah.
That's your life lesson for the day, right?
Yeah. You wouldn't
Word
want
to
the
the
pigeon
wise.
to put a hat on
Don't put
you.
hats on pigeons. I'd be concerned if a pigeon put a hat on me. Hats belong on humans, not pigeons.
I don't remember reading that anywhere, but I'll take your word for it.
I mean, we can Google it. Do hats belong on pigeons? We'll probably come up with the news article we're already looking at. And we're hoping to like find an interesting like random news story like this kind of like every episode or something similar to that.
Yeah.
Just open something on kind of a interesting note. I mean, that's what we're here for. So you're welcome for this weird story we found about a pigeon wearing a hat. Also, do you like I also wonder what the people who found this pigeon were thinking. They're like, what is that?
Well, I can kind of
What is
answer
this
that.
species of bird?
I can kind of answer that question. Somebody sent out a tweet after she found one of the pigeons. And if I can find the tweet, there it is. Right? No, that's not it. Technical
Oh,
difficulties.
here I found it.
Yep.
It's by some person. I'm not going to say their name.
Protect
I
the
don't know.
innocent.
They're the city manager of the city of Reno in Nevada. And she's like, so I'm out in the field on ride along with parking enforcement, and what do I see? It appears to be a pigeon with a sombrero. And then it shows a picture of the sombrero. And so, I mean, if you want, I will give you guys permission to pause the video. Not even pause. Just open a new tab. Look up this picture of this pigeon. Look at it. It looks amazing. The dude's obviously like strutting his stuff, just flexing off that sombrero. I mean, harmless or harmful to the pigeon? Maybe. Does he look good? Heck yeah.
Sometimes we do things that are fashionable, but they kill us.
Like tattoos.
Like tattoos. Well, actually, yeah, something like that.
There's a lot of things, like bleaching hair, stuff like that.
Wearing skinny jeans.
I can only wear skinny jeans, so I can't fit into any other jeans.
Okay.
Skinny jeans I can live with.
How we got from pigeons to skinny jeans is a topic for another day.
Yes. Pigeon wearing skinny jeans.
Don't give them any ideas.
I kind of want to look this up now.
Some things just don't need to be Googled.
Pigeons playing ping pong. How is that a thing? Why is that a Google search? Pigeons playing ping pong.
You searched for it.
I know.
Google was just doing what you
But
wanted.
we're going with pigeons wearing skinny jeans. It shows the pigeon with the cowboy hat and sombrero. It does not show the pigeon wearing jeans. It's only the cowboy hat and the sombrero pigeons. It won't find one wearing I cannot find one with them wearing skinny jeans, which is sad. But I'm looking at the cowboy hat one, and like, okay, yes, you can harm the animals by doing this, but kudos to the person who made the hats. Like these tiny sombreros, this tiny cowboy hats. A zoomed up picture of this pigeon the hat looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. The hat looks really good. And the pigeon just looks like he runs the town. He's like, I'm sheriff of these parts. Move on.
Actually, I don't think around in Illinois you could get away with that because there aren't really enough pigeons where I live. Could do it with squirrels, and then my dog would approve.
Puts hats on squirrels. Your dog would probably catch the squirrel.
Yeah, she would love it.
To be honest. If you go to, well, we have enough pigeons in the city.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't live in the city, so.
We live close enough. We live in Canada. We are outbased from Canada.
Hey,
we
buddy.
Are Canadians. Hey. We are from Canada. I sounded really Irish in that one. I didn't like that.
Everyone knows the Irish come from Canada.
Who? I mean, yeah, right?
The only one ignorant
How do you
enough
think-
to say that the Irish came from Canada would have to be an American.
Me.
Anyway.
We'll move.
To Canada.
Yes.
Well, I think,
Dead silence. Dead silence that we're gonna have to cut out while editing.
yes. Don't worry, I got your back. Got your back.
Yes. Just a quick reminder to all of you people out there, because we don't do this enough. Please, like, subscribe, comment, because you can do that now.
Like, describe, and
press
comment
the
this channel.
notification. And press the notification bell icon below.
Yep.
We are doing this for people out there, not for ourselves. Because, well, kind of for ourselves, so we have something to do in life.
Oh.
But we just want to, like, have fun and share stuff with our peoples.
We can't have fun without you. We need you to have fun.
We should come up. This will be a different conversation at another point. But we should come up with a name for our subscribers. Do you know what I'm saying?
The PNAers.
PNAers. We'll figure something out.
It's like what's that sports
figure
team? The 49ers or whatever.
Okay, yes, we will name them after a professional football team that has no relation to this podcast or a
Yeah, but they're
name
the
whatsoever.
PNAers, like the sports team.
PNAers?
Yeah, it's like that.
PSAers, the public service announcer. The public service announcers. We'll figure that out at a later date. Yes.
Now that we got that out of the way.
Ready? Transition.
Welcome everyone to the question of the day, which is... Tell them, Pericles, what is the question of the day?
Question of the day that we totally thought of by ourselves
Of course.
is, what would you do if you were invisible for an hour?
Yes.
Let us know what you think. What would you do if you were invisible for an hour? Let us know in the comment section below. We were thinking about this and we kind of took two approaches for it. We said invisible for an hour where you just were invisible, or you and your clothes were invisible. So we're taking both routes.
Yes.
We're going to give you answers for both of those. And I think we should start with clothes. Or without clothes. So you would be invisible,
Yeah.
but your clothes wouldn't be.
Okay.
So you'd be a floating t-shirt.
Well, with pants, obviously.
With pants, yes. Them too.
That's important. to note. Okay.
What do you have to add for this?
I have one thing to say. If my clothes aren't invisible, that means I have to be wearing something that looks cool enough so when I'm invisible, I look awesome. So there's only really one option, and that would be to wear a Grim Reaper costume. Think of how perfect it would be.
That would be amazing.
Kind of a seasonal thing, but, you know.
Just walking around being like, hello.
Think of how awesome. You could convince people that it was their time to die.
I don't think that's really your job, but okay. Moving on. No, that's a good one. That's good. I have two. I guess they're kind of both if your clothes were invisible.
Either
But
way.
if your clothes aren't, I guess if your clothes aren't invisible, it kind of defeats the purpose of
Kind of.
you being invisible. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I mean, sort of.
I think like it would just be funny, just to kind of trip people out. Just be like a person walking around, just a t-shirt and pants and shoes, just chilling, and they'll be like, "What the heck is going on?" They'd just be
You know what,
super
actually,
confused.
You would be great at poker because nobody could look at your face to see what you've got.
True.
So you go to the casino for an hour, you'll clean up,
Facts.
provided they actually let you in, but
Facts.
that's a whole nother issue.
You could probably just like quickly. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go there. You could probably just like quickly take off your clothes, sneak in, and then put them back on. But
They're not going to think it's weird that there's a bundle of clothes walking through the door.
but it's and also let's just clarify the fact it is for only an hour, so it's only stuff you can do within an hour. So it's not even a long period of time
Yeah,
to
that's
get
true.
anything done.
It's kind of like with Cinderella, at the stroke
Right.
of midnight, everything turns back the way it was. So whatever you do for an hour, you would better be ready.
Just not
when that
in the
hour's
middle
up.
of the casino, like we were saying. That could be
Poof.
no,
Yes.
not the close off, but
Make sure
just
you
playing
have your
poker
clothes on.
automatically like starts turning visible again, and then
You start
you're,
losing
like,
again.
snickering out loud, and then people see your face. They're like, "This guy."
Well, you would be very good at committing crimes because
I was
mean,
going
they
to
would be able
mention
get
that,
face
like,
apprehension
if
of
I
you.
were invisible for an hour, just rob a bank, but I didn't want to go there.
Well, the problem is if you are caught, then it'll be really easy for them to apprehend you because you'll be the only person walking around that has an invisible face and arms and
Right,
legs.
and I guess that would go well if I think we could just transition into if your clothes were invisible.
That's a different scenario.
Like robbing a bank, that would work.
All right.
And no
Then it would work
fingerprints
a
or
lot
anything.
easier,
So,
probably.
or would there
These-
be fingerprints?
Well, you still have fingerprints, they just can't.
Yeah, I forgot. For some reason, I'm like, you're invisible. You don't disappear. So that I was kind of like,
You still exist.
right.
You have a body, but it's not visible.
What did you say for everything invisible?
Then there's really only one obvious choice for that. I would go around with my viola and play the theme from Jaws around people. So you just see an instrument randomly playing itself.
That would be funny. I was thinking for mine. Now, we both know Teslas in America going into self-driving cars. Tesla, they have their cars can
Okay.
be self-driving.
I know
But-
where you're going with that.
A bunch of cars still cannot drive by themselves. Like, let's say maybe a 1990 Honda Civic. Just like, depending on the car you have, that's just an example. You just get into a car that's like one you own that's obviously old enough not to be a self-driving car, and you just drive around the city, just invisible, and people are like, "What the heck is this?" No, it's just you in the car too, just like nobody else.
Yeah. No, then
That'd be
you do Uber like
Uber.
that. You do Uber like that. You say Uber's
Also,
experimenting with
another
self-driving
one I
cars.
put down that would work.
Oh.
If you were completely invisible, just walking around in public, and then you know how some people will just you'll tap them on the shoulder to make them look like turn around. Just do that to a bunch of people
Right,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
city, and just be like, it does seem
Seems
cruel,
kind
but
of
it would be
cruel, but
extremely funny.
kind of harmless at the same time. Or what you do is it's when you go to a restaurant and when someone puts down their food or whatever, sandwich or something, you take a bite out of it when they're not looking.
That would be good.
That would be kind of funny. They would be wondering why their soup bowl is suddenly gone dry. I suppose you'd eat an invisible spoon then as well, but
Just slowly eats their food every time they look away.
that would be pretty funny. Get a free lunch out of it too.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Free lunch, just walk into a place. That would be
I think it'd actually be kind of cool to go swimming like that as well, because then they'd see you swimming through the water and there'd be this big void where you are.
on the diving board.
Oh yeah.
Walks on the dives off the diving board, and then suddenly out of nowhere you just see a splash, and then people are like,
Massive splash. It would probably, when you're going down into the water, it'd probably look like there's a massive bubble.
just like throws water at people, and they're like, "Where is that coming from?" You can scare a lot of children or people,
No,
not
go after
just
the
children.
adults. I thought this was. It's a good thing we
I
took it
might
off
seem
child
like a
friendly.
mean person. I love how my first like approach is just not to say you could scare a lot of people. It's you can scare a
It's
lot of
children.
children. This is why our videos are not our content is not for kids.
Yeah, we had to take it off of
like to
that.
scare children.
Well, the problem is now that the comments are off and it's not child friendly, people can tell us what they think about you.
Why would you mention that? My friends who listen to their podcast are like, we could really expose this guy right now. They're like, oh,
Quick, turn the comment section
he
back
made
off.
fun of us. It's our turn. You might have just turned the whole comment section against me.
Starting to turn this franchise around.
Yes, you will turn our whole franchise of 16 subscribers around.
It's just gonna become a roast channel. You're gonna have to be roasting people just to stay alive.
The content idea. That would be an interesting episode. Just roasting
That's
people.
not. Unless, of course, they want to be roasted, but who in their right mind really wants to be roasted?
We have weird friends. I mean, I could kind of name a good amount of people. Like everyone in our friend group. For the most
There's a
part.
big difference between the people that want to be roasted and need to be roasted. Keep that in
Ah.
mind.
True. True. And that's why it would be fun to be invisible for an hour. I think we can all agree that being invisible, like you can ask any kid, right? What superpower would you like? Nobody would really say invisible. Invisibility is kind of like the weakest superpower out there, kind of to an
Yeah.
extent. Like kids would, you can take this different ways. I think kids would rather like fly than be invisible. You know what I
Or
mean?
pause time.
Ooh, that's a good one. What would you do if you could pause time for an hour?
Well, you can say goodbye to having all the problems of procrastination. You ran out of time, just pause time and
Hey.
study again.
Time warp. Just warps
You can
time.
take the time to Google the question.
What question?
Your homework.
Huh?
Or tests.
Oh.
I am not advocating cheating, by the way.
Austin, reminder. We don't take
What?
tests right now.
Oh.
We don't take tests right now.
That's gonna be happening at
Gap
some
year.
point, and I've got to come up with something to get around it.
I would like people to know that I am notorious for mentioning that I'm on a gap year. I'm making kind of bad gap year jokes. I don't I do I've done this more since we've started the podcast with you, Austin, but with like my other friend group, I do it a lot. So I'm sorry that you have
I
now
see
become
that.
a part of this. But if you hear me mentioning a gap year often, if I can somehow fit it in, you know why now. It's just who I am. I start school in the
Nice.
fall, by the way, so
He's
it
going
won't
back
last
to high
that long.
school.
Oh, I would also like to clarify. I know I said in the last podcast that the gap year jokes would stop.
He
I
lied.
said they would stop when I start school. When I start school, not in school. So, not yet, not there yet. We'll get there one day. There will be peace in the world once again at some point.
Right.
Anything else to add, Austin?
I have nothing more to add. Except for have a great Monday, and yeah, that's it.
Okay.